Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to this information session on our Science Communication Executive Certificate program that we are offering here at Seneca College. I would like to thank Camilla and Samrita for organizing this event and allowing us to speak to you all. And with that, I'd like to pass it along to Dr. Burke Cullen, who is the developer of this program and our subject expert in the field. So thank you, everyone, and over to you.
Thank you, Teresa. And thank you again, Camille and others who've worked to bring this all together. It's a great pleasure to be here today to share with you our very exciting new Science Communication Executive Certificate program. And I know you'll be interested to hear about it. So without further ado, we're going to move on and talk about it. I'll be explaining all of the different elements. But first, Seneca acknowledges that its campuses are located on the land stewarded by Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Wendat nations. We acknowledge Treaty 13, signed with the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, and the Williams Treaty, signed with multiple Mississauga and Chippewa First Nations. We are all interconnected as treaty people with shared obligation to learn, respect, honor, and sustain. So here are some of the distinguished faculty that we have teaching this program, and I'll just say a few things about them. I'll try to say more about the courses they're teaching, but first of all, there's me, and I've been with Seneca for quite a long time, and I've developed several technical communication courses for some of the grad certificates, and my expertise is in writing and in presenting, and I hope to give you guys the skills to write clearly and present clearly, and I'll say more about that. Don Baisley, Camille, I was mentioning earlier, is an award-winning, not just an award-winning scientist, but also an award-winning science communicator. And she's really one of a kind. She's a real trailblazer, particularly with women in STEM, as you people are, and as well with regard to educating her students and others in various communication organizations about the perils of miscommunication and those kinds of things, miscommunication in science. Next up, we have Amanda Buckowitz, who comes to us from the very famous Canadian radio show Quirks and Quarks. And she's going to be talking, and I'll say more about this, about how to shape your science into engaging stories, such as you hear on Quirks and Quarks and podcasts and so forth. Next up, we have Bill Dern, and he's sort of one of those whiz kids. He just seems to know everything about digital communication, and he's going to be offering these hands-on workshops that we're offering on a few Saturdays, 2 in the fall and 2 in the spring, on everything from digital visualization to podcast, how to create podcasts, to working with social media and web design, all of those kinds of things. And it's, as I say, hands-on workshops. So you'll be creating things with that course. You're creating things with all of them, but in particular, those are really intense kind of workshops. And finally, Margaret Mrozowitz, who is, as is said here, the communications manager at York University, and she has extensive experience in science communication and with working with her own science faculty on aspects of engagement and outreach. And I think that's very, would be of interest to you people. So we're going to start with just basically the science communication in general. We're going to talk about where it finds itself in industry, and I will uncrate some of the courses a little bit more. And then hopefully there's time for some question and answers. So to begin, science communication, as you know, is a very large field, a very growing discipline. The US is much further ahead. Britain is much further ahead in areas of science communication, but we're getting there. And so as a discipline, it's devoted to the understanding, the advancement, and the engagement of science. And in this new program that we're launching, we're covering the basic pillars, really, of science communication. So beginning with writing and presenting, and that will be the course that I'll be teaching. And I just want to say a few things about the importance of writing when it comes to science communication. We know that language is at the forefront of both informing and, unfortunately, misinforming a lot of times. And so we're this program, and my course in particular, is going to be focusing on the importance of clear messaging and of also invigorating your language to engage your audience, inspire your audience with what you have to say. And the ultimate push, really, of this course is to give you the tools to channel your passion in your own science into the areas of communication, so that you can actually disseminate your science in ways that will engage and appeal to the audience, whether it's in writing or in presenting or digital format, and so forth. So I'll also be working with on presentation strategies in that first course too, in making sure that you just are much more comfortable as a presenter, and I've got lots of good tips to lower the anxiety and raise the visual appeal of what you're doing. This fall term, and I'll be kind of moving back and forth, but I thought I'd just use this graphic here. So next in the graphics is digital science communication. And that's the workshops, the intense Saturday workshops that we'll be offering. As I say, 2 in the fall and then 2 in the winter term. And those really are the workshops really will give you such a vast array of tools to work with in all kinds of different platforms, multimedia platforms, and so forth. Next up, so in the spring term, in the winter term, we call it winter term, starting in January, Don Baisley will be teaching the Navigating Controversy and Crisis. And that is sure to be an exciting course to take because, as I said, of her own deep involvement in science communication and the profile that she has as a scientist. She was elevated to university professor some years ago, and just keeps just battling along. She was in the Arctic this summer doing with a research cruise. She's very exciting to listen to and very, very passionate about getting the right message, working with evidence, evidence-based science versus all of the other things that are conspiring against those kinds of messages. And then we move on directly after that to the science storytelling course that Amanda Bukowitz is going to be teaching. And that is such an integral part of science communication, because we all know how spellbinding stories are to begin with. And then when you get into science stories, the James Webb telescope stories that are coming our way, even a lot of the COVID kind of research that we have, a lot of it is shaped in a story, sometimes chronological, but it's the stories that tend to inspire us, and so you'll be learning from the best in the industry and from guest speakers as well along the way throughout the whole program about how best to shape your own story into a compelling, something compelling for the audience. And lastly, I think this would be of interest to the entire organization, SQUIST, and that is this final course, Content Strategies for Engagement and Outreach. I know that one of your principal activities is outreach to young people, and the various places that you're going. And so Margaret Mrozovich, who, as I said, has worked with faculty to bring their own science into something that is exciting to share, becomes a kind of a pitch of, this is the science I'm doing, outreach, getting to other people. She's going to be giving you tips on how to do that, how to shape even a kind of a campaign. And I know that you're probably very adept at that too, but she's got all kinds of great things to do in that final course. And then with those final workshops, the final workshop is actually going to be a web design workshop. And so by the end of the whole program, you will have this web page. You'll be working up a web page that will then finally be profiling really your whole portfolio of the science that you've been working on, and various initiatives. So in short, this program is designed to enhance the skills that you already have as a scientist, to enhance your ability to sort of complement what you're doing, to sort of give you another stage up in your career. And that is the important one of sharing your information in a way that your audience is going to understand it. And from that understanding, become fully engaged and basically, ready to hear more. So we move on from that to various kinds of roles that you'll find in the industry. And this is by no means an exhaustive role. And what you'll find is that, science communication is, as I say, a kind of a complementary toolbox for the scientist. And it includes science writers, managers in the STEM industries, medical writing, marketing and communications, medical copywriters, managers and associates in the educational aspects of medical education. There's medical communications and education specialists too. Think of various hospitals and other kinds of health-related initiatives. Think of even the science table people and the work they were doing to keep us informed on what was going on with COVID. All kinds of various techniques that they were using and graphics and so forth. Medical information associate. There's science policy makers, very important. Public information officers with various organizations and companies. And then research scientists in STEM and health industries who want to, basically raise their profile, up their game, add a whole new set of skills to what they're doing. Now, I've given you most of what's going on with the courses, but we'll just kind of quickly go over it. So the first course will be starting in November the 1st. That's a course I'll be teaching in science writing. I've already told you that I'm going to be spending a lot of time, first of all, on the written component of what goes on in writing, the key messaging, how to invigorate your language, and then moving on from that to presentation strategies, both with what we're doing here virtually and also in person, because we are slowly moving back into a kind of in-person situation. And so the digital science communication, mentioned that earlier with Bill Dern, who's going to be giving a very intensive hands-on session on the 26th on visualization, different ways of visualizing complex data, complex science data. And then on December 3rd, podcasting and video editing. And these are really seem to be really important means of disseminating information now. Podcasting's super popular now. So then again in the spring, Don Baisley with science communication, navigating controversy and crisis. And after that, Amanda Buckowitz with the science storytelling, followed by science communication, content strategies for engagement and outreach. And then the 2 workshops that come on those 2 Saturdays, one on social media, all of the ways in which you can harness social media, which includes blogs and Facebook and Twitter, and very important platforms now for, as I say, both disseminating and sometimes distorting the information. So you'll be learning about that. And then, then we move on to, where are we here? So that's really about it. Just a final word about the Executive Certificate Program. And it is designed to prepare today's managers, or today's aspiring managers, for tomorrow's senior executive and managerial work. These programs are perfect for those with expertise in a particular area and experience leading a team. And again, with those who are aspiring to get there, you may be sort of poised to move on, and this could be another step in the ladder along the way. And you'll be learning from expert people, industry leaders, guest speakers, we're very excited to be sharing the entire shape of the essential toolbox that we have for science communication. So if you're interested in hearing more, there's Teresa right there, and Teresa, yeah. I guess you can open the floor.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. If you do have any questions that we haven't gotten to, please feel free to email me. Or if you think of something after we've ended our call, please feel free to email me. The registration link is here. So if you do want to register, but what I will do also is I'll put it into the chat so that it's easy to find that way. However, I would just wanted to, before we open up the questions, just wanted to show you the downtown Seneca location. So it does give you an opportunity to come on campus if you'd like to as well. It doesn't always have to be online. So if you would like to come onto campus, we welcome you to our downtown location. It's a very elegant space, and a lot of students benefit. And if there are those who work in the downtown core, we're right there. It's a subway ride away, or you can even walk to our location. So it's definitely for the adult learner to, once they're finished their day job, they can come study with us.
Or if you're flying in to do your own business trip, and you can do a double header, come on down and work. So yeah, definitely. That's right. There's both in person and online. I know a lot of you folks are out west, and it still would be quite possible for you to be taking these courses online.
Yes.
And if you ever get the chance to drop
come
in
visit
downtown
us,
Toronto, for sure.
Please, we'd welcome you. And now we'll open up for questions. Okay. So we don't. If anybody has a question, you can feel free to unmute yourself, and we can answer your questions. Or if you don't feel like unmuting, you can just enter it into the chat.
I have a question. Thank you for the presentation.
You're welcome.
So this certificate program, how much is it helpful if somebody wants to go in the medical science lies and career later?
Could you repeat that, please, Sachin?
Yeah, so this certificate program, how helpful will it be if you want to go later on in the medical science lies and career?
Well, I think it'd be very important, because under the umbrella of science communication is medical writing. It's almost as though you've got this big category of science communication, and then underneath are various other branches of it, and medical writing would be one of them. But absolutely, in the medical profession, the need for good communicators is so important. And I'm going to come out on a limb here, but I think that, one of the kind of problems that we're up against with COVID is mixed messaging. And it's unfortunate, because we've been wading through it all barefoot. But you can just see from that experience alone that the need for really good science communicators in the health and medical profession. Does that help?
Yes, sure. Thank you so much.
I did have another question on the cost. So if you do click on the registration page, the fee is $3,999.20. However, what we can do is we can break that up into course by course, if that's more convenient for you. We do have an option for the payment schedule. I can maybe take this one as well. Any scholarship or funding opportunities available? So we do have some, because this is a certificate. What we can do is and it's in continuing education. There are some available bursaries that you may be able to apply for, which I can definitely find you the link for that as well. Just 1 second while I find it.
Go ahead, Venugopal. Can you unmute? Somebody had a hand up, I thought. Oh. No, that was me. My hand went over there on accident. Sorry about that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rosemary, who put the link for the school bursaries and awards that you may apply to. You're most welcome. Any other questions? So this is the only executive certificate of its kind, and which is amazing. So, and because of the option of being online, anyone can really apply. And we feel like it is a great opportunity to enhance your skills. And it is wonderful for you to have this under your belt and be above that other person. If you're going for another job, you can tell them, I have this, I know how to do this, I'm better qualified almost. But it is an amazing opportunity.
It is. And the only other kind of full length science communication, certification, if you like, is up in Laurentian, Sudbury. But they've for one thing, it's a long way up there north. It was a great program. I honestly don't know though what's going on though, because the Laurentian University itself did have some financial problems. So this just to add another sort of point to Teresa, that this really is a one of a kind, a unique program that it's open really to all Canadians. Our downtown campus wants to now open itself up to more kind of in-person traffic, but it's available to all Canadians, and it's certainly a high registered program. It does want to prove itself as that executive certificate, and we hope that we have shown some interesting things here for you that you'll be wanting to pursue with us.